Hello again. This is a follow-up. This is actually the first teaching revelatory video that I'm making. In the first part of the first video that I made earlier, I explained to you about that of the visitation. And another thing I want to emphasize to you, so you see the walk that I am walking, I and my wife, my family are walking, and where we're going. In that same time, in the visitation, after the visitation, the spiritual realm was really opening up to me. I was just doing things, and like I said, people didn't understand it or comprehend it. But another thing was that at the same time that I would go up for the altar call, during the actual sermon and the worship period time, there were angels that started talking to me. And my wife, the time it first happened, I went, what? And so I didn't believe it. And so I told my wife, I said, hey, I think there are some angels talking, an angel talking to me or some angels talking to me. And she said, okay. And so the angel never gave me my name, gave me their name. But it said to me, it said, okay, if you look behind you, there's a lady, I think she was like in pink or something like that. He said, turn around. And there's a lady in pink. And I went, okay. So I turned around and there was a lady in pink. And I think this angel said it was an angel of love. So in that, even though that particular church was all into Christianity, they did have an angel of love that oversaw them and such. And I say that to you because the angel that is with us and protects us is the angel Uriel. And some definitions of him is that he's the archangel, and he's actually the angel of truth. And he actually introduced himself to me probably back in April of 2014 in my time of worshiping and waiting for YAH to speak to me. This angel said hello to me, and he started talking to me. And so I asked this angel, I said, well, who are you? And I have it in some of the notes from back then. And he said something, and I wrote it down. I was like, Uriel. And then finally I heard it when he said to me, Uriel. And I said, okay. And so I give that to you because, and what I'm going to do, I'm reading some notes here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post these words that I have written down so you can see what I'm drawing from. But in this particular session of worship and all, and waiting for YAH to speak to me, and also Yahshua and all, Uriel said, sir, all is ready for you as a family to move. YAH has been most gracious to assign me to protect the well-being of your family. I am honored to serve you and your family. And so that's the way, in terms of my relationship with Uriel. And one of the things is that he always addresses me as sir. And this goes back to that of, I think it's in Hebrews, I think it's 1:14, where it talks about, is written that the heavenly angels are here to serve us. And so look at that scripture up. I think it's Hebrews 1:14. Okay, and then from there, want to just follow up a little bit more on that earlier video that I made. And one of the things that Paul talks about is, once again, I'll go back to Ephesians chapter 6, 10, verses 10 through 12. And he talks about the heavenly realms and how we battle them. And so on that same worship session, Yah said to me, he said, the realm encompassing Virginia doesn't want you here. And this is amazing. I mean, to me, it's amazing. He says, it has tried for generations to stop you. You are here because you are me as his messenger. But I'm just adding that. But he said, you are here because you are me. And then Yahshua said, he said, my brother, we are one. And then to go on, then going back to Yah said, he said, this realm opened the portal to bring Judah here as slaves. And then Yah said, I allowed it. And then he goes on to say, my son, you are victorious because you are in Virginia. No matter what comes against you, you shall always be victorious. You are me. And he says, yeah, he says, nothing can stop you. And then he goes on, and let me share what else he said in that particular session. He says, these are enormous spiritual times. He said, it took some time to break through, but you did it. And then he goes on to thank me, my wife, and our children. And then he says, sorry for the pain, my son. Thy have shown the powers, the realms, and dimensions. You are unstoppable. You are me. We are one. I am Yah. I am the creator. I am the master of all things. And then they concluded that by in that same session, that happened on November the 27th, was a Saturday, around about 11 o'clock. And then Yahshua said, he said, my brother, get excited. And he goes on to say, Trellis, my mother to the masses, get excited. He says, you have arrived. You have overcome. Now we start the reformation. And then Yahshua was saying, now we start the reformation of our Father's kingdom. And then Yahshua went on to say, he says, I too have waited a time for these forthcoming times. And so in that, that's part of what I'm going to segue into next, is the period that we are in as a nation. But in that is the Reformation. So the Reformation for us as a people, this is the period where he is going to start to clean us up, right, as a people. This is the Reformation period. How long does this last? I can't tell you that. And so from that, remember that, the Reformation period. And so the next thing I'm going to read from that I will post on the actual video is what he gave me on, let's see here, February the 8th of 2020, which was a Saturday, and he gave this to me at 12:47 p.m. And this is how it reads. This is how he gave me the information. He says the Most High's manifesto, and the first thing he says, I, the Most High, have redeemed my covenant people this day. He said, all curses cast upon them this day have ended. I lay upon them this day a spirit of redemption. So that period that he refers to in Genesis 15:13, that 400-year period, that officially ended spiritually for Yah on February the 8th, 2020, Saturday, and at the posting of this letter, of this manifesto at 12:47 p.m. And then, like he said, I lay upon them this day a spirit of redemption. So we are in that redemption. He has placed that upon us. And then going back to the notes that I said to you before, in that is now we're in the Reformation period, prior to the gathering and everything else. And so then from there he said, I bestow upon Carl B. Thompson the authority to reclaim all covenant rights bestowed upon my chosen people. And then number 2 is to reclaim their covenant land. Number 3, to reclaim all stolen treasures. Number 4, reestablish my people as a nation. And number 5, establish a new covenant with me, the Most High, and my covenant people. And then number 6 is to address the nations regarding their roles in assisting and reestablishing my people to their land. 7, to warn and forewarn the nations of the consequences of their actions. Number 8, to exact punishment to the nations for their disobedience. And then he said, number 9, set times as I direct. And in some forthcoming videos, I will also give you information in terms of the times. The times of hear me now, the times that they have in the Bible are wrong. They have been misconstrued. And so Yah is going to actually start giving us his times for the things that he is getting ready to do. And this is kind of like a caveat, like the white horse. Remember that. The white horse, period. The white horse of death. Remember that. And so he says, and also in the same manifesto, number 10 is to release plagues, signs, and demonstrative wonders. Number 11 is to propel my will be done. The Most High's will to be done. Then he says, exact my power. That was point number 12. Number 13 was inhibit all rebellious actions against my will. And for that, I say to this, for all the Dathans, your time is coming. For all the Dathans in us as a people. And there are many Dathans in us as a people. They shall perish. And then he says, inhibit all rebellious actions against my will. And then that's point number 13. Number 14 is set parameters for establishing a constitution between me, the Most High, and my covenant people. And then number 15, he says, to prepare my people for Armageddon, and then to prepare the minds of my people, or prepare the minds for leadership of my, and he put in parentheses, the Most High's High Council, going back to the 24 in the book of Revelation. And so in that's the manifesto they outline. So a couple of things this is a pretty short segment here, but in this I'll provide information for you. And part of in the manifesto itself, there are the scriptures that you can go back and to look at, to reference what the Most High has laid out here. And so in that, like I said, a lot's getting ready to happen. As I was saying earlier in the earlier video, a lot's getting ready to happen in a short amount of time. And so with that, I'm going to end this like part 1 and part 2 of this particular session to say, I will probably continuously make videos probably within the next 3 or 4 or 5 days, and just kind of download you and give you revelations as to what Yah has shared with us over the last 20 years. And I'll do more appropriately what's apropos or what's for right now. But in that, I say once again, I love you, my brothers and sisters. Shalom.